Good morning, children. Today we are going to start sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction means the formation or fusion of haploid male and female gametes. Now these gametes, they are either from single individual or they are of different individuals of opposite sex. Now these gametes, they give rise to diploid zygote which develops into a new organism. Sexual reproduction mostly occurs in higher animals or higher plants. Now basic features of sexual reproductions are the two parents are compulsory for sexual reproduction or biparental reproduction is there. Haploid gametes, that means it involves the fusion and formation of male and female gametes. It also involves the meiosis division, and variations are also there because the offsprings which are produced sexually, they are genetically different from their parents. Now sexual reproduction also has four phases: juvenile phase, reproductive phase, phases of senescence and aging, and death. Now first one is juvenile phase, which starts from birth till the attainment of sexual maturity. That means it starts from birth, and when the child gets sexual maturity, till then juvenile phase is there. Now reproductive phase, the end of the juvenile stage or the vegetative phase, it results in the beginning of reproductive phase. Now during this phase or during reproductive phase, offspring produced by an organism. Phases of senescence and aging. Now these phases, they are characterized or they are marked by gradual deterioration of vital capacities and by death. That means in this phase, the person or the plant, the functions, they get slowed down and it results in the end of the organism or the plant. In this, senescence and aging are there. It is the term for senescence, it is a terminal stage of aging before death. Now in this process, old plants, they degenerate and deteriorate in animals and plants during their lifetime. Aging, it is the phenomena of acquiring characteristics of age. It leads to the breakdown of an organism or any part of it through cumulative effects of irreversible physiochemical changes. Now death, it is the end of life of an organism. Now these changes which are taking place in the life of an organism, they are determined by genetic factors, hormones and environmental factors. Now sexual reproduction in simple organisms. Sexual reproduction like in algae, fungi and protozoans, they are done in unfavorable conditions when the spores are formed. So these spores, they are thick and having cysts around them, and this leads to them to withstand under drought and high temperatures. Now in sexual reproduction in plants, these are done by monocarpic and polycarpic. Now sexually, there are two types of flowering plants, monocarpic and polycarpic. Now monocarpic plant produce flowers only once in a lifetime. That means after producing the flower, they produce the fruits and then they die, like seasonal plants, biennial plants. They are monocarpic plants. Whereas polycarpic plants, they are usually occurs in perennial plants, or perennial plants are termed as polycarpic plants because they produce flowers every year and they bear the flowers every year. Then after that they give rise to fruits and seeds. Next is sexual reproduction in animals. Now in sexual reproduction which takes place in animals, it is followed by morphological and physiological changes in the behavior of an organism, and it is before the reproductive phase. Now, like in birds, they give eggs throughout the year. Now, this egg laying is a commercial exploitation for human welfare. Now, these animals, like higher animals, mammals, they show cyclic changes in their life cycle, and those cyclic changes are menstrual cycle and estrus cycle. Now, menstrual cycle observed in females of mammals like monkeys, apes and humans, whereas estrus cycle observed in females of non-primate mammals like cows, sheep, rats, deer, dogs, tigers, etc. Now, some animals which live in natural conditions, they exhibit or they show cyclic changes during favorable seasons only in their reproductive phase. That means these animals, they only reproduce when the conditions are favorable. They are called seasonal breeders like frog, lizard, birds. Now, some of the mammals, they reproduce actively throughout the years, throughout their reproductive phase, and they are known as continuous breeders like rabbit, cattle, mice, man, etc. Now, in animals, the reproductive phase, it takes place externally and internally, and there is change in external and physiologically in male and female. Now, all these changes, they are regulated by the hormones and enzymes, and some in humans also, some develop secondary sexual characteristic at the onset of the reproductive phase. Now, sexuality in organism, sexuality in animals. Lower animals like earthworms, sponges, tapeworm and leeches, they are bisexual in nature. That means they are hermaphrodite. Bisexual means one animal or one organism has both the sexes, male and female. So they are termed as hermaphrodite. Whereas some of the animals, they are unisexual. That means only one sex organs are present, either the male or either the female. Now, this hermaphroditism, it is very important, or it also has an advantage for the animals like tapeworm, because this function, this hermaphroditism, permits self-fertilization, which is very essential for these endoparasites. Now, in some hermaphrodites, male and female sex organs mature at different times. If the male organ matures first, then it is known as protandrous, or if female or ovaries mature first, that means they are known as protogynous. Usually in higher classes, unisexuality is there. That means they show sexual dimorphism. That means both the female and the male, they are having different appearance and they are in different form. Sexuality in plants. Usually most flowering plants, they are also bisexual or hermaphrodite with male and female reproductive structure in the same plant. Now, these plants, some of the plants, they are also unisexual or dioecious. Male and female, they are present on different plants. In lower plants like algae and fungi, they are also termed as homothallic and monoecious because they are used in bisexual conditions. Whereas heterothallic and dioecious, they are used for unisexual conditions as in Mertensia. Now, this Mertensia you will read in BSc children. Okay. Now, in flowering plants, unisexual flowers, they are bearing stamens, they are known as staminate, and the plants which bear pistil, they are known as pistillate flowers. Now, both male and female plants, they may be present on the same plant, or it is the condition known as monoecious, or they may be present on separate plants, that is the known as dioecious. Okay. So, here is the diagram for hermaphrodite. Okay. Now earthworm. See children, here seminal vesicles are there, testes are there, ovarian oviduct are there. So both sex organs are present in a single organism, female and male organs. Here also this in cockroach, female and male organs are separate. Like male, it has anal sulci, anal style, or these are the male reproductive organs, whereas in females, ovary, ovules, oviduct and genital atrium is there. Now here, monoecious plant. See here, female sex organs are here, and dioecious plant. This is the plant of Mercantia, thallus, and rhizoids are here, and bisexual flower. Female and male both are present in a single flower. Now, events in sexual reproduction. Now, sexual reproduction, it leads or it is characterized by the fusion of male and female gametes or fertilization, formation of zygote and embryogenesis. Now, these are divided into three distinctive phases: pre-fertilization event, fertilization or syngamy, post-fertilization events. Now, in pre-fertilization event, it occurs before the fusion of gametes. So, it includes the gametogenesis and gamete transfer. So, the formation of male and female gametes, it is called gametogenesis. Now, the gametes, they are specialized reproductive units which are always haploid in nature. Next is homogeneous homogametes or heterogametes. Now, if the two gametes, they are similar in appearance and we cannot identify whether it is a male or it is a female, then they are known as homogametes or isogametes. And if they are morphologically different, then they are known as heterogametes. Now, in this, male gamete is called antherozoid or sperm and female gamete is called egg or ovum. Now, formation of male gametes or sperm, it is called spermatogenesis, and formation of ova, it is called oogenesis. Now, here types of gametes. Now, see, isogametes, both are identical. We cannot identify them. Now, here also be heterogametes. Female gamete is different, male gamete is different, and here also heterogametes of humans, so sperm and ovum. Now, gamete transfer. How these gametes are transferred? Because once the gametes are formed, there is a necessary event for gamete transfer. Otherwise, if gamete transfer does not take place, then there will be no fertilization, there will be no reproduction process. Okay, so the transfer of male gametes is very essential event in sexual reproduction. Now, the mature male and the female gametes, which are brought to facilitate the production of the fertilization process, male gametes, they are maybe having flagella and they are motile in nature, whereas female gametes are non-motile in nature. Whereas in some algae and fungi, both the gametes are motile in nature. Now, for the motility or for the movement of these gametes, medium is necessary through which they can move. Now, in humans, semen is there which helps in the movement of the sperm. In seed plants, pollen grains are the carriers of the male gametes, and ovule, they have the female gamete or the egg. Now, where these pollen grains are produced? Now, these pollen grains, they are produced in anthers, and when they get mature, they are liberated in the air or they are transferred to the stigma through some agent. Now, transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma is called pollination. Now this you all have read in your previous classes, children. So in cross-pollination, the pollen grains, they are transferred from anthers of one flower to the stigma of another flower through some agent. Whereas in self-pollination, the pollen grains, they are transferred from anthers to the stigma of the same flower. No agent is needed for self-pollination. Once the pollen grains, they enter on the stigma, then they germinate with the help of the pollen tube. So here see germinating pollen grains on the single flower after pollination. Here, see, this is the stigma, pollen grains. So pollen tube germinate from this pollen grain because some hormones, they are there for developing this pollen grain. As true, this is the female reproductive part, style and ovaries there. Then it reaches this pollen tube. It has two nuclei, generative nuclei, and then it enters into the ovary on the embryo sac with the help of the micropyle, and here it fuses with the female gamete and forms the embryo or the zygote. Now fertilization. So after entry into the female reproductive part, it fuses with the female gamete, and this process known as syngamy. Now their fusion to form the zygote called fertilization. So syngamy and fertilization, usually they are interchangeable. Now it occurs either externally or internally. That means external fertilization is there or maybe internal fertilization is there. If the fertilization occurs outside the body of an organism, it is called external fertilization, and if the fertilization occurs inside the body of an organism, it is called as internal fertilization. So here in algae, fishes, amphibians, external fertilization takes place. In this, children, organisms, they release their egg into the water and there will be a chance for fertilization. But there are disadvantages also, because the predators they get these eggs and they engulf those eggs, so there will be less chances of the survival and it can be threatened also. Now internal fertilization, when it is as I told you earlier, that when it is fused with the inside in the body of a female, then the process known as internal fertilization. Like in terrestrial animals, fungus, reptiles, birds and mammals, or bryophytes, stridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms, mostly internal fertilization occurs. In this, children, male gamete is motile in nature, and for the fusion it has to reach to the female gamete. So number of sperms are produced and only one is able to fuse with the egg. So this is all for today. Tomorrow we'll study about the post-fertilization event. Okay, thank you.